Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 95 of the Free to Hope presents 12 Steps Applied to COVID-19. My name is Edwina B, and I am truly a grateful and humble alcoholic in recovery for 31 plus years. Why? Because the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, established over 80 plus years ago, saved a seat for me. And by the grace of God, we celebrated 31 years on February the 23rd of 2021. And for that, I am truly, truly grateful. Also, he delivered me in day 95 from COVID-19. Yes, I've been free from COVID-19 one day at a time for 95 days, plus 7 members of my family as well. And you better believe we are truly, truly grateful. Why? Because he breathed breath into me this morning. He breathed breath into you this morning. He woke you up this morning, and he woke me up this morning to relish and rejoice in this new day. But we can make it a happy new day if we apply the 12 steps that are spiritual in nature and do the suggestions of the CDC, so that we can wash our hands, wear a mask, social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested, right, and getting vaccinated. So we are here with this recovery conversation to set you free and to give hope to others. Free stands for from recovery, emerge empowered, to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. And for that, we should acknowledge and give our Creator, whoever you decide to call him, the glory, the acknowledgement, and homage, right? So join me for just 30 seconds in a moment of silence as we acknowledge the Creator who knows the beginning, the middle, and the end of this pandemic. And we also want to include the whole entire human race, because we are all simultaneously going through this pandemic that has affected all of our lives all around the world. Each one, each family, each community, each city, each state, each country. But there is a solution, and they are in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous that we are going to apply to COVID-19 Anonymous. That's right. I'm establishing a new 12-step program utilizing the same 12 recovery spiritual principles. So join me as we give homage to our Creator and the entire human race while we go through this knee-bowing experience simultaneously, holistically, and around the world. So join me. Thank you, and thank you. You know why I say thank you? Because some of us did not wake up this morning. Some of us are on their dying bed as we speak. Some of us are unable to say thank you. And if we are our sisters and brothers keepers, then we have to fill in the gap for those who are unable, those who are unwilling, and those who are just so defiant and rebellious, right? We too have to pray for them as well. So, free to hope from recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally is the purpose of these, I would say, recovery conversations that started back in March the 31st of 2020 from an article by Dr. Scott T. Allison. And he wrote in that article how we as a human race can benefit from the wisdom of 12-step programs. And the Spirit led me to go online, hit that, go live on April the 1st of 2020 to present to you the 12 steps of recovery as they relate to my personal experience, hope, strength, and wisdom, and how we can apply these 12 steps to COVID-19. So if you want to go back into my archive, go back to April the 1st and see the beginning. And today you'll get a snapshot of day 2 of my experience in sharing the 12 recovery principles with you. And you will see the transformation from my makeshift studio, the various masks that I wear, and how I present it to you, how important it is to wear the mask, okay? Now, who would have known that in November I would have contracted COVID-19 as well as 7 other family members? Only God knew that, but only God delivered us and had us survive the fatalities of contracting COVID-19. I mentioned he delivered us, but guess what? I contributed to contracting COVID-19, members of my family as well. And because of that, we have to be held responsible for being defiant, being stubborn, being self-centered, taking this COVID-19 for granted. But the God that I serve say, that's okay. I'm going to deliver you for a purpose. I'm going to use you to rescue wounded, shattered, and broken people like you and like me, so that we can rescue broken, shattered, and wounded people like you and like me. So for that reason alone, he has delivered me 31 years free from addiction and the lifestyle, as well as being free from COVID-19 for 95 days. So on December the 3rd, I set before you with my presentation, my morning conversation, but I also set before you just the way I was. So take a look at what COVID-19 looked like on me back in November and December. Yes, that's me. My body ached like a toothache. I had my dentures out. I was sweaty. My taste buds were affected. I could hardly smell. And more importantly, I could not breathe to my fullest capacity. And so that's why I believe that God, again, saved me and members of my family so I can share with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I made and members of my family made by selecting when and where to wear the mask, by selecting where and when to wash our hands, getting an attitude from people telling us who we can be around or not, right? Definitely not wanting to get tested because of fear, right? But we ain't going to admit that we're afraid. And the vaccination shot, that was totally out the question. So you see how our mindset, the way we were thinking, helped contribute to contracting COVID-19. It can do the same thing for you, but it doesn't have to if you just not hear me, but listen. Listen. Listening implies action. And so by presenting the 12 spiritual principles to combating COVID-19, to stop its perpetuation, we can, we will, we must be a part of the solution and no longer a part of the problem. All right. And so I want to share with you as we continue that I did not apply these 12 spiritual principles to COVID-19 initially, which is why I contributed to contracting COVID-19. And I had the information for over 30 years, right? And for whatever reason, I still have that character defect of being defiant, rebellious, stubborn, self-centered, selfish, egotistical, prideful, had an attitude of being invincible, similar to when I had it with alcohol, drugs, and the lifestyle. But guess what? I was not a smart person. No, I was not, because I did not learn from my mistakes. Right? But they say a wise person learns from their mistakes and the mistakes of others. So after contracting COVID-19 and seeing 2 out of 8 members suffer with the symptoms, me being one, and my 2-year-old grandson, I became a believer. I was convinced that this COVID-19 is serious because it affected me and my family members. As long as our photo was out there, those people, them, not me, not my family, yes. So that's why I'm sitting before you, sharing my experience, my strengths, my hope, my wisdom, my lack of wisdom, my bad decision, my bad choices, and how I contributed to contracting COVID-19. But like I said, I learned my lesson because I am a lot wiser. And that's what the spiritual principles do. They allow us to go through a spiritual experience, which will bring about a spiritual awakening, which will increase our spiritual maturity, and for us to achieve that psychic change, to address our old and existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors that prevent us from doing the simple suggestions of the CDC. Get this information from the 12 steps, begin to dissect them, analyze them, implement them, and practice them in all our affairs, specifically regarding COVID-19, so that we can adapt our attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, utilize that psychic change, being restored to sanity, soundness of mind, and to use the spiritual angle to deal with any and all physical conditions. Yes, so that's why these 12 recovery principles are guaranteed. Yes, they are guaranteed. If you are honest, open-minded, and willing to practice these principles in all your affairs, and then practice them with the CDC suggestions. Talk to people who have lost loved ones to COVID-19, those who are suffering right now from COVID-19. You're listening to me. I am a miracle. I survived COVID-19. But guess what? I'm still wearing my mask. I'm still washing my hands. I'm still social distancing. I'm definitely doing contact tracing. I definitely got tested, and I got vaccinated. You want to see? Are you from Missouri? Check this out. Check this out.
Look at it. She's at the red button.
This is my second shot, right? That's my second shot. I got vaccinated. If you're from Missouri, here it is. Okay? I too had to remove those ideas that was preventing me. This is when I got my first shot. I got the first shot on February the 6th, and I got the second shot on March the 4th. And so it is important that we share this information so that you too can see how it works. Now, I had an attitude of being invincible, right? And so I also had an attitude about getting tested and vaccinated, right? And so we know that through testing that some people are asymptomatic. 6 out of the 8 family members were asymptomatic. They didn't have any symptoms, but they tested positive, right? So getting tested is very, very, very important. And then when it came time for the vaccination, I just turned 65 on December the 16th, right? I too had that attitude. Oh, well, I don't know if I want to get the vaccine shot. I don't know. They did these studies back in the day. They are targeting us. They're trying to eliminate us, talking about the African American and the minorities in this world, in this country. But guess what? When you do your own research, when you ask the right questions, when you are able to obtain information and knowledge to better assist you in making a decision, then that is what you need to do, because that's what I did. In the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, they say that people think they know it all, like me. People have all the answers, like me. But they posed this question and said, if you were missing just a little bit more information or missing a piece of the puzzle, is there a possibility you could be wrong? The answer is yes, of course. And so that's why I did what I needed to do to make the right decision to get tested and to get vaccinated. And I also know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the vaccine has a purpose of decreasing the severity of the symptoms, thereby decreasing the possibility of being hospitalized, thereby decreasing the possibility of me dying from COVID-19. It doesn't prevent me from catching COVID-19. It doesn't prevent me from infecting others with COVID-19. So do your research, do your homework, ask the right questions. When I sat before you on December the 3rd, feeling like I was feeling, I can't even imagine the severity of the symptoms others have experienced, by being in a hospital, even meeting their own death. Wow. So I implore you to listen, okay, as we go and have these recovery conversations to encourage you to save your life, thereby saving the lives of your loved ones, thereby saving your culture, thereby saving your community, your city, your state, your country. And if we do this simultaneously around the world in a holistic manner, we can, we will, we must stop the perpetuation of COVID-19. All right, so I showed you me getting the shot. Now I want to acknowledge my sponsors, ones who have been with me here recently and how they have helped me to increase my platform, right? So these are my sponsors. Here they go. All right, wait a minute. It's going too fast. Wait a minute, y'all. I tell you, boy, when you have this information, you have to be mindful of how and what you share. Okay, now it's still going too fast. Wait a minute. Okay, y'all just got to bear with me, all right? So let's go up here, take my time, and here go my sponsors. Okay, MDB Associates, Dr. Mary Douglas Bailey, Patchwork Human Services with Ebony Madry, Levante and Dorsey and Associates, Academy of Peace, Dr. J. Macklin, Crafty Crab Seafood Restaurant. I'm wearing their mask now. That's where I had my anniversary and my 31st anniversary there. And so I want you to see that you too can be a sponsor as well. The information is free to the public, but I want to increase my platform in as many ways as I possibly can. Free to Hope is another sponsor, okay? Let's continue. I have more. Let's go up here. I tell you, boy, I just love recovery because it makes you practice patience even when you don't want to. So my other sponsors include Women Do Hall Transportation Services, Mr. C's Barbershop, Morgan's of Delaware, Lady T at Morgan's of Delaware, Jewelry by Catherine Butler, and Divine Light Recovery Center and Supportive Housing. So I thank all of my sponsors, right? I also want to encourage you to contact me. I can wear your mask. I can promote your business, but you're supporting me because you believe in what we are doing in order to save lives one at a time, one family at a time, doing your part to be a part of the solution. So if you're interested in being a sponsor, please follow the information that's presented on the screen. Okay? What I also want to share with you, I mentioned to you Dr. Scott T. Allison, and that is the article that I read on March the 31st. Repetition is important in the recovery process. And as a result of his article, we are looking at the 7 points that he emphasized using the Al-Anon approach of the 12-step program. Letting go of control, patience, keeping the focus on oneself, trust, living in the present, right? Social connection, and service to others. And we also had information by Jason Waller. Jason Waller, he does the breaking down of the 12 spiritual principles through a narrative and through posing various questions. We're going to be continuing that this morning on recovery principle number 7. Okay, so just like you may not remember, you may not have heard, you may not even have listened, but I'm going to present it to you again. Here are the 12 steps as we apply them to COVID-19. One, we admitted we were powerless over COVID-19, that our lives had become unmanageable. Two, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. That only means soundness of mind. Three, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Four, made a searching and fearless more inventory of ourselves. Five, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Six, were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Seven, humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. This is the step that we're on and have been. I think this is day 12, and we may conclude, I'm not sure. Eight, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Nine, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others, even you. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others regarding COVID-19, and just as important, to practice these principles in all our affairs. Okay, so I have been sharing with you information on my first early days when I was presenting the 12 steps to you. I shared with you a couple mornings ago what day one looked like in my presentation of the 12 steps being applied to COVID-19 as a result of Dr. Scott T. Allison's article. All right. And so there are times I want to show some videos of my early days so you can see the transformation. You can see the ability to be transparent and honest and direct, right? And I believe in being totally transparent because in some of these reviews of these podcasts, you will see me wearing masks. You will see me wearing a wig. You will see me with or without my dentures, huh? And the whole point is to show total transparency. And I just want to share with you, like I did the other day, a portion of day 2, part 1. So let me finish my introductions before we go any further. We want to let you know that through the 12-step recovery program, we have been able to share some information that is vital. So bear with me. Let me go here. All right, share. Wait a minute. Let me go here. And let me try to get recovery principle number 2. Here it is. So I want to share this with you. Okay. So this is a glimpse of December April the 2nd. Day 2, April the 2nd, when I shared with you. First, I was in my bedroom, and then I was, hold on a second, y'all. All right. Then I had to go downstairs because my grandchildren were here. But just look a few minutes at my second day of my initial presentation of the 12 steps being applied to COVID-19, and make sure you listen, but watch and see the glory of our Creator. All right, here goes. Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Edwina. How y'all doing out there, Facebook family? And if you're like me, I am an early bird and I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning. And uh, so, if you are watching, I want you to create a watch party so that individuals who may need information on this free from recovery emerge and hope, help others prosper equally using the 12 recovery principles. If you think they need this information, please create a watch party so that they can view it now and or later. So I want to definitely start off by thanking my God for giving me life today. Today. And obviously if you're watching, he gave you life today too. And so for that, if that only, we need to be grateful. So as you can see, I'm in my kitchen now. And yesterday's first presentation was up in my bedroom, but I have two little ones up there sleeping. So guess what? Grandmom had to move downstairs. And that's what people would think is common sense, but the 12 recovery principles help me to use the serenity prayer, which says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So rather than me forcing myself for my self-centeredness to be in my bedroom while they are asleep, there's a chance they might wake up and interrupt this presentation, right? So what do? What can you change? What can I change? Well, I changed the location. So I'm down here in my kitchen and I'm having my coffee here. And every morning I have coffee with Billy Dandridge. Him and Francine and Aviance and Bruce, they are my favorite family. Yes. But he passed some years ago, and I have coffee with him every morning. And so I want you to get your coffee before we start this presentation and get comfortable. I want you to also get a pencil, no, get a pen and an erase, no, a pen and a tablet, because yesterday presentation we talked about keeping a journal. So I want you to be able to take some notes if you need to. So get a pen and a pad or a piece of paper before we start the second day presentation. So for those who are just joining me and was not privy to attend yesterday, let me give you an overview. And I'll be using the terms I and we because we are in this together, and each of us have to be challenged to do what we can do personally that will help the collective body. Okay. So many of you know or may not know, I have been in recovery from substance abuse, alcoholism, and all the associated lifestyles that go with them for the past 30 years. Yes, to God be the glory. But in these 30 years, I have been blessed to be able to attend a 12-step program called Alcoholics Anonymous. So I am not a representative of Alcoholics Anonymous, but I have been a member for the last 30 years. And at 7:30 this morning, I will be going to my regular AA meeting that I have been going to for the past 30 years. But within those 30 years and recovering from that lifestyle of addiction, and alcoholism and associated behaviors, there were a lot of internal issues that I had to deal with so that I won't be tempted or compelled to pick up a drink or drug to numb or escape the feelings, right? And so in the 12-step program, they have 12-step principles, spiritual principles that we as recovering alcoholics, drug addicts, overeaters, uh, sex addicts, love addicts, because they all use the same 12 recovery principles that were formulated by Alcoholics Anonymous back in 1935. And so, as a result of being presented with this information over the years, with continued practice, with continued honesty, with continued open mindedness, with continued willingness, I've learned, as thousands and probably millions of others who are in recovery, how to go inside and deal with the issues using these 12 recovery principles to help us not go back to where we were delivered from, to not go back to drinking and drugging and all of those associated behaviors. So these 12 recovery principles helped me. And it's helping me also during this time of crisis. And this is not the first time I've been through crisis, but this is the first time that I've experienced a crisis such as this. And you wonder, well, why am I smiling? Yes, because even in the midst of this crisis, there's hope. Even in the midst of this crisis, I could find in the midst of this crisis, I could wake up smiling today. Yes. Why? Because the 12 recovery principles have helped me to utilize the serenity prayer. Lord, grant me the serenity to change, to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Has helped me to put things in this right perspective, and if needed, adjust my attitude. So AA can stand for attitude adjustment. And so as life on life terms show up, I have, as millions of others, made the choice to use one of the 12 recovery principles, if not all, to help us through any and all crises, challenges, issues, even joys, celebrations, so that we don't pick up that drink or drug again. Okay? So I've done a lot of work inside. And in our program, it states that all human beings are ill to some extent. All of us are ill to some extent. So they also say that all humans can use a 12-step program or use the information that's in that program. And as I shared yesterday, Dr. See if I can get his name right, Scott T. Allison wrote in Psychology Today, and the caption read how using the wisdom of a 12-step program can help us in the month of April, right, during this crisis. And so that was enough to motivate me to begin this 30-day presentation of the 12 recovery principles. If they helped me and are helping me during this crisis, guess what? I want to share how they can help you too. So that's why we're here, and this is what this presentation is going to be about. It's from April the 1st, yesterday, through April the 30th. And you're going to get some information, you're going to get some encouragement, you're going to get some hope, you're going to be given some tools to use, only if you choose to use them, okay? And so I thank Dr. Allison for helping me break through that challenge and presenting this information to you during this time of crisis. Okay? So, my motto is usually what happens in a 12-step program, I go to my meetings and there's open meetings and closed meetings. And so this morning at 7:30, if you're still available, I will tune you into an actual 12-step AA meeting that's open to the public, okay? But when I do my presentations on how this program has helped me, because the challenge is to stay sober and utilize the 12 recovery principles, but also to help others. And so when I present to you, I am coming outside of the 12-step program, but giving you 12-step program information that has helped me because it's free. It was freely given to me, and I want to freely give it to you. And that's why the word free is my motto, free and hope, because the acronym for FREE, F-R-E-E, is from recovery, emerge empowered. From recovery, emerge empowered. So that means when we learn and utilize these 12 recovery principles, and we implement them in our lives and begin to practice them, we are going to emerge empowered. Yes, we are going to emerge empowered. Okay? And the reason why this free presentation is free to you, because I want to give you hope, like hope was given to me. And hope was another motto that I use, that the acronym stands for help others prosper equally. Help others prosper equally. That's the hope. We're all human beings. We all need help. And we're all here and should be here to help one another and to encourage one another and to give each other hope. So that's my mottos that I use and will be using throughout the presentation. Now, yesterday, I usually try to do my PowerPoint. And when I give my presentations, I use PowerPoint. But for whatever reason, it's not working. But thank God for hard copies. Thank God for the old-fashioned way of doing things. So you can't always depend on technology. You have to rely on things that work. So actual documentation do work. And I'm so glad that I have the backup that I need of the presentation that I was going to use with PowerPoint. So before I continue, if you don't know me, and if you do know me, you know that I don't normally look like this. Why? Because I am and have been known to be transparent. Not just transparent, but totally transparent. To thy own self be true. And that's what I want to start off with. To thy own self be true. And so with that being said, this is a wig. I don't have any makeup on. I don't have any fingernails. I mean, paste on or whatever. And so if I want to expect you to be totally transparent, guess what? I need to set the example. So here goes. Hi, y'all. Woo! There go the wig. So this is who I am. Yes, I'm 64 years old, got a head full of gray hair, but through the 12 recovery principles, I have a lot of wisdom. So I want to be transparent to you. I want to be able to connect with you spiritually. I want to be able to connect with you so that I can share with you and hopefully feel from you the empathy and the compassion and the understanding that all of us need when we have something inside of us that we need to get out. So now that my transparency a little pop, this is how I normally wear my hair. Isn't that great, beautiful? Yes, I like it too. I am comfortable in my own skin. I am blessed to be grateful to accept what my God has given me. So this is a sign of wisdom, and through the 12 recovery principles, it looks like I have a lot, right? I still got a ways to go because I'm always ready to be humbled and remain a student. So that's the first thing. To their own self be true. So we talked about yesterday. I gave an overview of what we're going to be doing, and I gave you an overview of my qualifications. And real quickly, I am a doctoral candidate in biblical studies, and this is not a religious presentation, not at all. But I am getting my doctorate degree in biblical studies just to learn more about the God who I did not know that delivered me from underneath a parked car 30
Well,
years ago. So that's why I'm getting my doctorate degree in biblical study because I want
what
to
are you
learn
doing?
more about that power that
I got your phone.
did what no human being could do. So, but I'm
Yes, ma'am.
also a presenter, a
Oh,
facilitator,
I'm
a
usually
trainer, an author,
okay.
a
And you wanted to
writer,
call your grandma?
and a recovery coach,
I said you
and
woke up
even a
early. You wanted to
model
call your grandma?
and an actress. Why?
Do
Because the
you see me
12
on
recovery
TV?
principles help me walk through the
No, I'm
fear
on
to
Facebook Live. I'm doing
obtain
my show.
my God
I was
given
surprised you called me
goals
because
and
I do my
gifts
show from
and
6 to
destiny.
7.
So, in my 30 years, I've been able to accomplish those things in the midst of crisis. And even in the midst
Oh, I
of this
know. That was
crisis,
beautiful.
look at what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Well, let
Look
me
at what
call
I'm
you when I
doing.
get,
Look at what God
call
has
me about
allowed me
7,
to do,
10
to
after
share
7,
with
okay?
you in the
All right,
midst
I
of
love you.
this. Hope,
All right, bye-bye.
hope that no matter what we're going through, there's always hope. Yes, it is. But we need individuals to help present that hope, to give that hope, to be a demonstration of that hope. And I thank God that He has prepared me to sit before you the next 30 days to give you hope and to encourage you to be free from recovery, emerge empowered. Because as I shared yesterday, I was supposed to be going around the country sharing these 12 recovery principles to the world to let them know that if you are recovering from cancer, substance abuse, mental illness, domestic violence, rape, molestation, homelessness, all of those things that happen and can happen to us, but how do we get the freedom from them? How do we be freed from them? How do we accept what we can change, but have the courage to change the things we can? And it's through these 12 recovery principles that the Spirit gave me a couple of years ago to present the 12 recovery principles to the world. So I was scheduled to go all around the country, 2020 free tour, but guess what? I'm in my kitchen, and that's okay. Because I probably have a bigger audience opposed to a contained audience around the country in different venues. So I'm glad that this worked out because I'm still able to do my assignment. And so that's what this free tour thing was about. Okay?
All right. So y'all got to see, huh? The transparency that I was talking about, right? So that's what I usually do every time I came on to wear my mask, right? And to emphasize the importance of removing the mask and putting on the mask that's designed to save your life, right? And so I also wanted to demonstrate to you that when we wear all of the masks that we've been wearing all of our lives, there comes a point in time when they're going to be challenged. And it's during this COVID-19 pandemic, we get to see how important the mask is and your willingness to wear the mask that's designed to save your life. And so that's why I am, well, one reason why I'm wearing my mask right now, because I can talk, I can breathe. I'm not interested in you seeing my pearly white dentures. I got a surprise for you. Huh? I'm not interested in you seeing my makeup. I want you to listen to the message and not focus on the messenger. And so, sharing with you the early days of my transparency and presenting the 12 steps to COVID-19, you get to see and participate in the process, in the journey to where I am today. 95 days free from COVID-19. But back in April of 2020, listen, I had all the information but did not use it, which is why I contributed to contracting COVID-19. But it was important for me to share with you the earlier broadcast of my transitioning of the 12 steps being applied to COVID-19 and taking off that mask and now wearing the only mask that is designed to save my life. I encourage you to do the same thing. Now, the other thing is, like I said, I got something to show you. You will see during my old podcast presentations, it's not as important that I look a certain way. What's important is that the God of my understanding continues to use and talk through me, right? And so there are times when the 12 steps allows you to practice a lot of humility and be willing to save your behind and not your face, right? And so me sharing with you this morning with this mask on can demonstrate it is more important to be an attraction, right? And also in this particular instance to promote you utilizing and practicing the CDC simple suggestions. But how do you achieve that psychic change in order for you to want to, knowing that you need to, want to be responsible and be accountable, and more importantly, want to live and want your family members to live, want others to live? So when you talk to individuals who have lost loved ones to COVID-19, if you talk to individuals who are experiencing the severity of the symptoms of COVID-19, listen, because there, by the grace of God, there go you. All right? And so I wanted to share a portion of that second day with you, and I will continue to show parts of the earlier days of my presentation. All right, so we got some time to do some more talking. Okay, so let's go here and let's find out what we've done so far. Many of you know that we have been talking through the first 6 steps of recovery, and they are: 1, we admitted we were powerless over COVID-19 and that our lives had become unmanageable. We did that yesterday in detail. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, soundness of mind. Yes. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God, right, as we understand him, right? We also did 4, and this is where we stopped yesterday because I wanted to hone in on 4, 5, and 6, even though we are on recovery principle number 7. So 4 is where we go to find out where those attitudes, ideas, and behaviors that were formulated as a child and still exist in us as adults. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We get into the exact nature of why we're defiant, why we are rebellious, why we don't like authority, and any and everything that prevents us from doing the next right thing regarding COVID-19. And number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And so we want to continue sharing with you how the 4 to 7 steps look like. So in 4, I identified the resentment I had against COVID-19 and the resentment I had against myself. But by working with another person, I found out the exact nature of those character defects, it was based in fear. And we know that in recovery, we say we face everything and recover instead of forget everything and run. And so I emphasize an example, what it looks like. So if I have the character defect of lying, right, I identified it in 4. I got to the exact nature in 5. I became entirely ready in 6. And then when I get to 7, when I feel the need to lie again, am about to lie or have lied, I can ask God to remove the shortcomings of lying from me, which is based in fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being criticized, okay? And so we go on to the questions that Jason Waller talks about. And we went through questions 1, how has my understanding of my higher power grown? We did 2, how have the previous 6 steps prepared me for step 7? And we stopped on 3 and says, how does being aware of my own humility help when working the 7th step? And so when we talk about being aware of your humility, right? And so in order for us to really get the essence of all these steps that are spiritual in nature, they challenge us. Yes, they do. And so I've learned that if I don't want to be humiliated, then I need to practice humility. I need to be humble. And when it comes to recovery principle number 7, when I feel those character defects rearing his head, when I feel the urge to do something wrong, when I feel the urge to do something that's not healthy, I ask myself this one question. Edwina, is what you thinking, what you want to say, what you want to do, is it going to feed the flesh or is it going to feed the spirit? And then I get to choose, because of the awareness, how much humility I do have, and asking him to remove that shortcoming, that I'm about to say, I'm about to conduct, right? And if I choose, it will manifest itself and I'll be redirected to do the right thing. So that's what I mean by total transparency. And so many of you think, wow, you got 31 years in recovery, one day at a time, right? You are getting your doctorate degree in biblical studies, yes, one day at a time. You have a TV talk show, choosing a new way of life. Yeah, one day at a time. You write articles for the News Journal and other magazines. Yes, one day at a time. You are a motivational speaker, recovery coach. Yes, one day at a time. Your children have benefited from you being in a 12-step program. Yes, one day at a time. But the most important thing that I have established through these 12 steps is my relationship with the God of my understanding, and that he accepts me just the way I am. And for many of you in recovery, we don't have the know-it-all to realize how much we are damaged, how much of our character is defected. And so if we are willing to practice humility by being humble, so the question says, how aware are you of your humility? You want to see it again? It says number 3, how does being aware of your own humility help when working the 7th step? How does being aware, how does being aware of your own humility, So is it that important to go outside without a mask? Are you humble enough to wear a mask? Even listen, this is how transparent I am. I told you I got something to show y'all, because I know the God of my understanding said that, Winnie, you got to be transparent. You got to show them, So you put your ego and your pride and your self-centeredness aside, and you do what I command you to do. I want you to be obedient. And so I am for real. I am transparent. And I'm going to tell you why. Because listen, when you see those other previous broadcasts, I snatch off that wig, I take out my dentures, and then sometimes I can't even find my dentures, like I couldn't find them this morning. How you like me now? This is how transparent I am. And my God accepts me just the way I am. And so when I talk to you about how aware are you of your own humility, me sitting before you like this without my dentures don't make me. These clothing don't make me. No, it's the spirit that's within me that is being used by this vessel to help save the lives of others from this COVID-19. To stop me from contracting COVID-19 by practicing these simple principles and these simple suggestions. So how aware are you of your own humility? I don't know who's seeing this. It doesn't really matter. All I know is that I'm being obedient. To show you that when you have enough humility, when you have the experience of being humble, so that you don't have to be humiliated, you are set free from recovery, emerge empowered to do what? To give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So I get to wear this mask, right? And what? Voila, huh? But what's important is wearing the mask, washing my hands, social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested, right? Getting vaccinated. That's what's important. So when we think about recovery principle number 7 and that question, how aware are you? As it says, how aware are you? How does being aware of your own humility help when working the 7th step? All right, so we're going to stop there because I have to get ready to go to my 7:30 meeting. But tomorrow, we will focus on the next 3 questions. How do I plan to ask a God of my understanding or higher power to remove my shortcomings? 5, am I comfortable with prayer and meditation, even if it means making up my own? And 6, has my sense of perspective or reality been out of proportion lately? All right? So we're going to stop there. And I just want to say, if it's God's will that we are joined together tomorrow for day 96, I want to be present. And I hope you'll be present too. But during this day, I want to ask you a question. Are you being proactive, reactive, inactive, or responsible regarding COVID-19? Are you in the prevention, intervention, or restoration mode of COVID-19? Only you can answer that question. We can, one person at a time, one family at a time, one community at a time, one city, one state, one country. And if we all do it simultaneously around the world, we can stop the perpetuation of this COVID-19. But you see the news, people are not wearing their masks. They dropping restrictions. They opening up, and only God knows what's going to happen. So are you prepared to do the right thing for you and your loved ones? To help the next person? Well, I am. I am. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So when it comes to COVID-19, I have to apply it to people too. God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is me. So you can be a part of the solution. Until we meet again, let me close with my sponsors. Make sure that you patronize them, support them. And if you want to be a sponsor, please contact me, right? And I will advertise your information and I will promote your cause because you are in support of what we are doing. So we have MD Associates, Dr. Mary Douglas Bailey, Patchwork Human Services, Ebony Madry, Levante and Dorsey and Associates, Academy of Peace, the mask I'm wearing today, Crafty Crab Seafood Restaurant, right? Free to Hope, right? From recovery, emerge, empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally, right? And we also want to um, give an acknowledgement to Women Do Hall Transportation Services, Mr. C's Barbershop, Morgan's of Delaware, Lady T at Morgan's of Delaware, Jewelry by Catherine Butler, and Divine Light Recovery Center. Dr. Carl Jong, Dr. Bob, and Bill said what we need is a spiritual experience which will bring about a spiritual awakening, which will increase our spiritual maturity for us to get a psychic change. What we need is divine intervention, divine providence, and divine light. So make sure you support my sponsors. And if you want to be a sponsor, please, please, please let me know. So let me share with you. Let me get the vaccine shot.
15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Look at
This is the second shot I took on March the 4th. The first one I took was on February the 6th. And yes, I will share with you the effects and reactions of taking both of them. But I'm out of time right now. And so be safe. It is God's will that we are joined together tomorrow. Be safe. Just be safe. Just be safe. All right. To God be the glory.